Hi guys, I'm Shmi, and today you join me at the 2017 Frankfurt Motor Show to take a look at 3 of Germany's heavy hitters and their new cars at this year's show. So we're going to be visiting BMW, Audi and Mercedes, each of their stands, to take a look at some of their new cars and concepts, like BMW's new M5, Audi's new RS4 Avant, and over to Mercedes for the new S-Class Coupe and Cabriolet. There is also plenty more to see, but let's get started with the new M5 right behind me here. First on the list then, the new M5 that was actually initially launched at Gamescom because it is one of the feature cars in Need for Speed Payback. This is the first auto show that we have seen the new car, but obviously I find myself lucky enough to actually have driven one in camouflage at Miramas in the south of France at BMW's test centre. But this one we're looking at here in the rather striking dark satin red certainly stands out. There's another car just over to my right in a bright blue as well. But the M5, as we know, the latest generation, is the super fast super saloon from BMW. There have been quite a few of them going back the years, but this time it is actually the first M car to feature all-wheel drive that isn't one of the X series models, the SUVs. So we've got the 5-seat format, 4 doors. In here though, like I said, 4-wheel drive with a particularly trick system that lets you put it into all-wheel drive sport for a little bit more power delivery towards the rear, or fully into 2-wheel drive mode if you want to have a little bit more fun with your M5. I discovered what that was all about when I was driving it in the south of France. Up front, you've got a 4.4 litre twin turbocharged V8, 600 horsepower. 0 to 62 miles per hour is 3.4 seconds, and it will reach a top of 190 in total. You can see the styling a little bit sharpened up from the G35 series, but not too dramatic, not over the top if you take away the particularly bright colour scheme of this particular car. We'll catch a glimpse at the interior as well though. There are a few notable new touches on the inside. The first is the movement of the M1 and M2 hotkeys to within reach from your thumbs on the steering wheel. Second is a very red start-stop button to go with the M modes as well. But given you've got that configuration, the ability to change the settings through the iDrive controller, which all comes up through the central screen. Let's have a quick little look at some of the different things you've got in here. M setup, for example, where you can configure MX drive, and if you were driving, you would go through those different settings to play with 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive sport, or 2-wheel drive, depending how you want the car. Inside, very luxurious, loaded with creature comforts, software for changing the lights and the like, lots of technology, that side of things, as you have come to expect, and we're going to see a lot of today. Some particularly brutish seats almost, the way they're padded and supportive up front. But let's step back out, taking the exterior of the new M5. In here then, quick glimpse at the top of that power unit. 600 horsepower, no small amount by any means. The BMW stand is also home to quite a few new concepts, including this, the X7, that would platform share with the new Rolls-Royce SUV as well, although quite a sharp design to it. We also have the 8 Series concept that I first filmed at its launch at Villa d'Este, and there is also going to be an M version of this. The M8 is coming, that will share the same twin turbocharged V8 as in the M5, and I really do think this is an awesome looking thing. This is a particularly interesting M760 Li. If I come around here, you can see BMW Individual have customized this car, even with wooden floors and interior trims to match, that you can see in there. But ultimate and luxurious comfort right there. Then the next concept is the Z4. Now this is a speedster, as you can see. The final car will of course have a roof, but it's being developed in partnership with Toyota, with their Supra, so it'll be available as an automatic and a manual, and more or less supposedly will look akin to this car that we're looking at right now, just with a roof installed. So that is quite a good look at when it's going to hit the roads. And there's an i3S as well, so more power, longer range from BMW's popular little i3. Finally on this stand, the BMW i Vision Dynamics. A look down the line into the future of a full electric saloon car, potentially something that could be called the i5. We shall see, time will tell. It's an example of where they're heading. Anyway, awesome stand here, but let's head on. Over at Audi, we have the new RS4 Avant. So very much modelled on the RS5, but in super estate format. It has the 2.9 litre twin turbocharged V6, so downsizing from before, but good for 450 horsepower. 0 to 62 miles per hour is just 4.1 seconds. Top speed 174 miles per hour. It weighs 1,715 kilos, so slightly behind the RS5 on performance due to the extra weight. But this car is presented here in Nogaro Blue, which is sort of linked back to the history of the RS2, a popular colour on that car as well. But it nicely contrasts with all the black parts, the carbon fibre. It's quite subtle in terms of design. You might initially think A4 Avant, but as we come down, you've got this strong contrast shoulder line all the way through the car towards the rear, of course, where it is that really quite cool estate format. Lots of storage, lots of practicality. And actually coming around here and looking at this particular line gives you a bit of the presence and strength of that extra shoulder. Come and have a look at the interior. Lovely finish in here. The light coloured leather with the honeycomb stitching pattern. 8-speed automatic gearbox. Full digital display, and I showed you most of how this worked when I test drove the RS5, and it's all quite familiar in here too, but functional, practical, well equipped, really good place to be. All-wheel drive, quattro of course, and specific 20-inch forged aluminium wheels for the RS4. If we come in close, have red brake calipers. Nice contrast there, standard steel brakes on here, but you can also have it with carbon ceramics if you prefer. Just come back round towards the boot. It's actually the 4th generation of RS4, so it's the oldest RS car in the lineup, in platform. Decent and practical. If you need a car for every day, taking the kids, taking the family, taking the pets, no problem. This is one of the most perfect cars for the purpose. So that's the new RS4. Let's wander further afield and see what else we've got here at Audi. The eyes are immediately magnetized to the Audi R8 V10 Plus Spyder. So previously you just had the R8 V10 Spyder, which had 540 horsepower from the naturally aspirated 5.2 litre V10. Now it's the full package with 610 horsepower in the Spyder, just like the coupe. But moving along, the next and perhaps more important reveal here is the R8 RWS. Now they're making 999 of these, and RWS actually represents the fact that this is rear-wheel drive. No quattro, the V10, an automatic gearbox, but all the power to the back. So pretty entertaining and probably quite fun to drive. It's a car that wasn't necessarily, I guess, predicted to be in demand, but it's arrived here, and I'm interested to see how that goes. Now next to that, if we come through the crowd here, we have the TT RS with the sport performance parts. Now a TT RS starts here in Germany at 66,000 euros. This car is optioned up to 127,000 euros. But as you look around it, you can see that it is quite significantly enhanced and dramatic, and it's got a big fixed rear wing back there with the swan arms to hold it up. All sorts of additions around the diffuser, the carbon fibre, the wheels, the side skirts, carbon mirror caps, the red brakes with the red touches on the wheels as well. Red little accents everywhere, and a lot of aggression to the design and overall package of the TT RS Coupe. Beyond that, you've got the RS3 and also the RS5 Coupe too, all in Nogaro Blue, the choice of colour for this year. BMW weren't alone with the concepts, so we are looking right now at Audi's A-Con, AI-Con, Audi Intelligence. It's an example of a level 4 autonomous driving car. So in there, you will not find a steering wheel, you will not find pedals. You sit back and the car does the rest. So that's an example of where the future might go. And if we move on from that to the next side of us, we have the Elaine, which is an example of a near future ready SUV, where we might expect this level 3 stage of autonomous driving in the not too distant future. A bit of a concept to have a look at as well and try out some ideas where they might go with that. Then moving a little bit further on, we also have the new A8 that I'm going to be featuring in detail in the not too distant future, but Audi's top level luxury saloon car, again introducing here level 3 autonomous driving, so the ability for the car to handle an awful lot of things on its own. And as well as that, Audi have also introduced a new naming system recently. So the A8L 55 being the power designation reference to compare the different models in their series. Welcome to Mercedes and the world premiere of the new S63 AMG 4MATIC Plus versions of the S-Class Coupe and Cabriolet. So we already had the saloon car, which is actually, if I spin around over that way, a car that I've driven with the new 4-litre bi-turbo V8 that we found in the E-Class, in the E63S. But now that engine has transported over to the S-Class Coupe and Cabriolet, 612 horsepower, 900 Newton meters. But one of the biggest differences with both Coupe and Cabriolet is that you have the Panamericana style front grille. So that traditional front grille with those vertical slats that we see on the AMG, GTR and GTC. So slightly more aggressive than the saloon version of the car. But look at this, just imagine cruising around, long distance journey in one of these. Have a look at the interior, feast your eyes on this, especially with this red leather. Look at the quilting, perforated leather for the seats, the Affolter back AMG logo in the center on the armrest too, the huge double screens on the driver display, elegance, luxury, comfort, and a perfect place to cruise. And that's the S63, so the product from AMG. On the other side, we have the Coupe, albeit the S560, so the Mercedes-Benz version of the car. Not quite the absolute top, but still 4MATIC, still all-wheel drive. Slightly different looks. If we come around towards the front, it has the more traditional grille rather than the Panamericana style. Now this has to be the absolute star of the show, the Mercedes-AMG Project One, the Formula One derived hybrid hypercar with over 1,000 horsepower, coming partly from the engine back there, which is the 1.6 litre turbocharged V6 found in Formula One cars. So quite literally the closest thing you can get to an F1 car to drive on the road, and it was introduced here by former world champ Lewis Hamilton, driving for Mercedes-AMG, of course. But this thing has been long awaited, 275 of them to be built, and you just look around it and it is truly, truly crazy in every way. Just look at this. For example, the star badge on the front takes 4 hours to be hand painted. You have active aero everywhere you look. There's a splitter that extends under the front. You have these active louvres to reduce swelling in the front wheel arches. There's a scoop on the roof just like the Formula One car. The silhouette is a very similar shape. The shark tail fin that comes down the back. A double layered active rear wing. I haven't seen that in action yet, but that's quite trick from what I can see. And presumably so much more tech, just taking everything to the next level. So Project One is something mega and crazy, and we're going to see plenty more of it in the future, but that, for Mercedes, has stolen the show. Mercedes are also joining in the concept game, and here we've got the Concept EQA, and just look at those brake lights, the way it spirals and wraps around, and these are more examples of potential future design styles, autonomous driving. This car has a steering wheel and pedals, which might sound silly to say, but that car does not. The Smart Vision EQ concept. So this is an idea of having a car for fully autonomous driving, no steering wheel, no pedals, that drives around the city, picks you up when you need it, when you call it, takes you to where you need to go, and off it goes again. So no parking problems, no stress, no needing to drive. It can take luggage, and they had a wonderful video intro for it in the launch presentation. Doors going back like that. I think this is going to be the future. I think this is the way things are heading. It's a strange world, but two completely different takes on electric and that kind of introduction with this car and with the Formula One derived engine supported by multiple electric motors in the Project One. But it's kind of fun, isn't it, to look at it, to see that thing. The concept EQA we just saw was the smaller car using Mercedes naming structure A for the smallest series. This is the concept EQ, and if we come around the front, obviously a design idea for a future SUV. It's rather neatly illuminated with all the blue grille style effects around the front, but is this the direction we're headed? Is this where cars are going? The overriding theme here at IAA then is clearly autonomous driving, automation and the direction of the future, but the BMW M5, Audi RS4 Avant and Mercedes AMG S63 Cabriolet, three pretty cool cars, but which would you choose? Which way would you go if you could have one of those new beastly cars from the German manufacturers? I've enjoyed this little look around, taking in particularly these three on their home turf to see what they're planning, where the future is going, and what we're going to be looking at a few years down the line. I think it's a very interesting world that is going to change very, very quickly. You might have thought autonomous and electric vehicles were decades down the line, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it comes around an awful lot sooner than we actually expect. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Do let me know in the comments which one you would pick, but I'm going to wrap it up for there. I'll catch up with you again very, very soon. Cheers.